Be nice. Be nice.
Did you know that each of your animals has their own angel? Did you know that one specific angel has been assigned to look over and take care of your pets? Would you like to know more about how a designated angel can help both you and your pet heal with ease and grace, especially through these tumultuous times with multiple transitions? If so, then today's show is for you. Our guest will be talking about the Blue Angel. Who is she? How can she help? How can you call on the Blue Angel to assist you and your pets? She'll also be sharing a meditation and a prayer so that you can experience directly the Blue Angel, and thus you'll be able to navigate these challenging times with more ease and grace. So, as you know, as I like to say, get your pen and pad ready. You're going to want to take some notes. Buckle up. We're getting ready to take a ride in the quantum field and possibly way beyond. Buckle up. I wouldn't want you to go flying off to another dimension. Or just maybe, that's exactly what you need. Welcome to the People and Pets Show. Welcome to the People and Pets Show. I'm so honored and grateful to have our guest today, our returning guest, Dr. Tricia Working. Tricia, how are you today?
I am very, very interesting. And I want to share that because what came to me a few weeks ago was how we all, Mark, ask how we are, and then we kind of slough it off or minimize what may be going on. And what was channeled to me was for us to really look at this and come up with a real answer that works for us. So I say I'm interesting because that can open the way to other conversations, or it can just open our mind. So I want to invite your reader, your audience, to think about that too when they ask people and they're asked about that, to look for a new answer that really reflects where they are.
Yeah, and in this new reality, kind of like, a lot of people are assessing, reassessing where they are on multiple aspects of their lives with everything that's said with COVID and more. We're just at that point. So yeah, well, thank you. And thank you to all those that are seeing this either live right now. If you're seeing it live on Zoom, there's a few people that joined the live call on Zoom, and we'll be able to interact with Dr. Tricia later in the show. Or if you're seeing it live streamed through Facebook off the Zoom platform, please let us know where you're viewing from. Please remember to love, like, and share this episode of the People and Pets Show. If you're seeing it off the People and Pets Energetics Facebook page, be sure to like the page, give this episode a thumbs up, and I would be grateful. Also, if you're seeing this on replay on the YouTube channel for the People and Pets Show, make sure to give the episode a thumbs up. Feel free to comment and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. So again, I'm so grateful that you've chosen to spend your time with us, because especially now, we're coming up towards the end of October. There are so many things you could be doing with your time right now. And I'm so honored and grateful that you've chosen to spend some of it with us. Again, you're going to get a lot of value out of today's call. If you're watching it on the live stream on Facebook, just say hi, let us know where you're viewing from. And again, later on the show, you'll have the opportunity to ask, type in your questions for Dr. Tricia. And yeah, that'd be great. So with that brief preamble, let me introduce myself. I am Mark Hernandez, owner and founder of People and Pets Energetics. I'm an intuitive energy healer that helps people, their pets, and their places when they've hit the wall with their health and well-being. I have intuitive gifts and extensive training to read those subtle energy fields and identify and release non-beneficial energies, keeping them stuck. For people, the people that pick up the phone and call me, they have long-standing, mysterious, often quote-unquote physical pains. Maybe it's a back pain, knee pain, hip pain. They've already been to their Western medical doctors, gotten all their tests run. Maybe they've done some alternative therapies, such as chiropractic, acupuncture. Maybe they've done some other energy healing modalities, Reiki, theta healing, because as I always say, everything works till it doesn't work. So these people have gone through 95% of the things that help most people, and they're stuck and in pain. For your pets, I help pets in two main areas. Category 1, your pet is experiencing a change in behavior. For example, peeing and pooing in the household, separation anxiety, excessive barking, and much more. Category 2, you've taken your pet to the vet. The vet has found something veterinarily going on, a growth, tumor, digestive issues. I provide a layer of energetic support. So my work is something you do in addition to the excellent veterinary care you're already providing your animals. All my work is non-invasive, safe, gentle, and yields results, at times immediately, and in other instances over time. I do 100% of my consultations remotely by phone or video. So I work with people, animals, and places wherever they are in the world. So that's who I am and what I do in a nutshell. So with that introduction of myself, I'd now like to turn to introduce today's guest, Dr. Tricia Working. Dr. Tricia has been working with the animal kingdom all her life. In her own words, quote, "Paws and claws have melted my tears and give me the strength to go on when I felt I could not." She is very Southern, a sassy spirit who wears lipstick, lace, and leopard. Ooh, okay. Leopardo, I'm thinking in Spanish. Dr. Working has a connection to spirit, which blesses her with unique healing ability and a way to see into the souls of guardians and their animals, so they create stronger bonds and forge a deeper relationship. She is a mixture of light and dark, the divine feminine, deeply mysterious, and mystical. Her abilities with animals translate back to humanity, and she focuses on healing what is broken. She recognizes the centrality of consciousness and possesses a unique ability to understand the final moments of life, the time to transition to another plane of existence. She helps both people and animals move on with ease and grace to the next stage of their journeys, whatever that may be. She is the author of the Fur Agreements, Lessons in Consciousness from Animals from 2012, and hosts a monthly conference call for the Paws Healing Ministry. She makes regular appearances on telesummits to share her works and gifts with communities across the world. And later on, she'll be talking about her forthcoming book on the Blue Angel, which will be released in 2021. So Dr. Tricia, welcome to the show again.
Thank you. So good to be back again, and especially during this time when the veils are becoming the thinnest between the two worlds, and we have opportunities that we don't usually have to tap into the other side in a deeper way.
Yeah, because of course, here, as we know, in the U.S., many parts of the world, we're coming up on Halloween, where I think the veil was already thinning on itself, but maybe it'll be even thinner with the end of October, beginning of November. So So, you were originally on the show in July 2019. So, about 15 months ago. Wow. It just seems like a couple of days ago. And
I
actually, I
know.
recently reran your replay a couple of weeks ago from that
Yeah.
episode. Many of our viewers are familiar with your work. For some, you may be brand spanking new. So, would you highlight some of the key moments in your journey, how you started working with the animal kingdom?
Yes, I will. Hang on, please. Hey, guys. Now we're not doing that. My tribe is being affected by not only the amped up energetics planetarily, but we just had a lot major losses this week of 3 kittens and another treasured master cat. So everybody has been affected and working out their stuff,
Mhm.
unfortunately, with each other. So pardon us for that. Yes, literally, as you said, from the time I was a little girl, I have had animals, dogs, horses. Never had a cat till I was in my 20s, but dogs, horses, goats, everything you can imagine. And what I never realized until I got much older and really started working on the fur agreements was that all of the experiences my entire life meant certain things and had given me unique understandings. But during those years, I didn't really have the languaging to bring it out. But then when the fur agreements began to evolve and it was completely channeled, spirit, God, the universe, however you want to term it, started bringing to light the messages, the understandings, gave me the language and the insight, and basically put it in the fur agreements, which primarily wants to let people know that animals, just like us, have specific destinies that they choose, specific purposes. And so when they come into our lives, then there are sacred contracts between them and us that we both agreed to engage in. Yet we're the only ones who don't remember it. And unlike us, the animals remember everything, so they're in true spirit form all the time. That's why I call them way showers, like the Native Americans do with the animal kingdom, because they can literally show us the way to our humanity, back to it, guide us on our own spiritual journeys. And so the messages of the fur agreements basically opened up the whole consciousness of these sacred contracts. And there's some really key moments that have happened because of the fur agreements. At one point, one of my treasured cats, little True Heart, was in the moments of transitioning. And as he began to transition, he literally, with my eyes wide open, not just my spirit eyes, but showed me his soul leaving his body. And it was so profound. I just could not believe what a gift that I was being given. Another one of my cats that actually I lost this year, but what happened during his ending journey, and his name was Caviar, is that during the entire time, from the moment that I found out he was in the phase of transition to his final breath, I was never unhappy, never cried. There were no tears in me because he immediately began showing me lessons and insights. And I was like transcribing them like an ancient scribe. And I was writing everything down and being with him so much in the moment that I actually understood what God was trying to show me all along for humanity, is that ultimately all the journeys are this way and can be once we are able to transcend our own humanness and move into the spirit and understand that they're being called home, but they're never away from you. And that was so powerful because I was so thrilled that I could witness it and support him, yet feel within myself not a loss on any level, but just the gift of his being and his love for me.
Mm-hmm.
Another major instance is the fact that over 25 of my animals, since I've been 25 years old, and I'm a little older than that now, but over 25 have reincarnated back to me in this lifetime, some 2, 3, and 4 times to continue working with me in the physical as well as on the other side. And that is just kind of unheard of, to have them be able to come back again and again and again. And even with that, it didn't mean that I didn't finish lessons. It meant that there was even more work to do together. And so they had to be here in body as well. And I am so, so grateful for those opportunities. And there are just so many more that, I mean, the animals are my teachers and my guides way more than humanity ever has been.
Yeah. When you said that, like about they reincarnated, like you said, 3 or 4 times, just maybe some of the listeners or viewers are wondering, how'd you know it was that same soul? What were some of the signs you saw?
Well, often, but this not, it's not a hard and firm fact at all, but often they would actually come back looking exactly the same as they had,
Mm-hmm.
same mannerisms, same activities, same ways of connecting with me. And then, of course, because like so many of us, I don't always trust everything I get. I had it verified with, Anna Maria and people like that. Or some of my friends would call me and say, I so-and-so came to me and said that he's going to be coming back, and you'll know it because he'll be the kitten with the loudest voice, and he will recognize you and you will recognize him. Just the other day, a friend from Canada connected with me and said, your kitten that is coming to you says you will know him by his emerald green eyes, and he's on his way. So it is amazing how the messages themselves come through. And there have been other times where, for example, my Magic, which was my very first cat that I ever had, he has tried to reincarnate multiple times over the years. And in the initial years, the body could not sustain the spiritual energy, and so left very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has returned 2 more times in the past 3 years. And the first time, originally he was black and white tuxedo.
Yeah.
And he returned as a long-haired, black, beautiful cat. Now he's returned as almost a solid black cat with a little piece of white under his neck. And what is so interesting, he is the exact version, almost a mini me, of my Rep Butler, who has returned 3 or 4 times now for me and as a gatekeeper and protector for me. And when you put them side by side, Magic is just looks like a smaller version. So, but when they look completely differently, they will find ways to let you know that it is them. So, but very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just check the comments in Facebook. I'm gonna give me a second to check and access that on my phone. Um, Again, if you're just jumping on the call, uh, our guest is Dr. Tricia Working. Later, if you have any questions for Dr. Working, if you're live, you can either type them in the chat if you're live on Zoom right now. Uh, and if you're watching it through Facebook, uh, you can type your comments in the chat. So let me just go to the chat and see what we got. Okay. Yeah. Let me, and so while I'm pulling up those comments, over the last 6 months, what are some of the main reasons that people have sought your help?
Well, like you, people often come to me because there are behaviors that they're having trouble with. But what always happens is that when we begin to look at the behavior, I'm able to mirror back to them what the animal is really trying to say in their behavior and how it is really something going on with them. An example from my very own life, one of my puppies, Angel, which so many people know her story, but for the first 2 years of her life, she chewed up my books, my ink pens, my notepads, and nothing of Rick's. So it was only mine. And I just thought she was being destructive. And I worked with her and worked with her, and nothing happened. And then one day, it was like my eyes just got opened, and I was like, oh, I get it. Because what she was showing me, I was supposed to be writing more. And I really wasn't doing it. I wasn't feeling it. And I'm either off or on when I write. So what she was doing was saying, you need to write now. And I'm telling you that. Once I got that, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I understand. I didn't realize that's what you were trying to tell me. And so the behavior stopped. Then later, once in a while, if I wasn't doing it, she would nibble at something. And then even Little Prince, my Pomeranian, started doing it to let me know I was not doing what I was supposed to be doing. And so the families that I work with, they end up finding information about their personal journeys, whether it's their spiritual journey, their relationships and their family, or their colleagues, whatever. They find that, oh no, they're acting out because I am feeling this way and I'm sitting on it, or I'm stuffing the anger or the frustration. So that's one of the very biggest. But then also, people know that transition is my specialty.
Mhm.
And I have worked with some families for months on end as their baby was getting ready to transition, or they have multiple pets that they have to go through this process with. And then I help work with the pet and them, and then also support them through their grief. But those are the real primary ways that people come to me.
Yeah, it's so interesting you brought up about the transition process. I got a call from a client last week. It was a cat out on the West Coast, and yeah, the pet guardian came for me to help the cat. And in this particular session, about 90% of my time was doing healing for the person. Okay, that's a little bit. Usually, it was maybe the last 6 months, 30%, but that's kind of like more the quote unquote extreme I've seen lately, that in the end, really the cat wanted the guardian to get help. And in the end, the cat did transition, had some major health issues for a long time. As I always tell people, sometimes a healing, animals, request a healing or consent to healing, sometimes to get their guardian to the table and continue their own healing if they choose, if the
Yeah.
pet transitions.
Um, something that's really exciting that just recently in the past month or so, some longtime clients who become very, very close friends to me had connected with me because one of their beloved cats had gone deaf and was also in the process of going blind. And so what has happened now is I have been able, through this experience, to create a program for people whose pets are experiencing these kinds of issues where they're losing their senses, and making Blue Angel videos for them and Zoom calls, and helping their families learn to talk to them and work with them in different ways. So that is a brand new area that I'm very excited to explore with people.
Excellent. And so that really takes us, to the topic of the day, which is, is the Blue Angel. So again, for those that may not be familiar with the Blue Angel, who is she? Kind of, if you can give a short synopsis of how she came into her life, and you've already touched on how she's evolving, but if you could touch on some of those points.
Yeah, she was actually, and she was introduced during the fur agreements. And what had basically happened was, back a little before or during 2012, one of my cats was having a especially difficult transition, and my mentor at the time had said, why don't you ask the Blue Angel for help? And I'm like, well, okay, but who is she? And she's like, I don't know, it just came to me. And so I did, and within a few minutes the transition was completed easily, softly, and gently. And so I tried to look up the Blue Angel, could find at the time no reference to her, ultimately found one tiny little reference in a very obscure book, but that was it. And so I started just calling in and asking for guidance about it. And what I was told is that there were really no specific angels dedicated just for the animals, and that she had been brought in to and asked specifically to have that purpose and for transitions. That is how she started out. And then over time, she evolved as well and said, not only am I here for the animals and for transition, but I am here for healing as well, and healing you, and not only your pet. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that is so wonderful. And so what started transpiring is that I started receiving what I call meditative prayers, because it's not a meditation and it's not just a prayer, from her on all kind of different subjects relating to the animals. And what has come out of it is the Blue Angels Handbook for Healing of the Animals. And it's going to be broken down into different topic areas, such as health areas, areas like that focus on rescue pets, because that's a totally different breed of animal. It will have a section on transition. It will focus on communication and connection, and even things like going to the vet. So it's not comprehensive, but it's so inclusive that you'll be able to pretty much look in there and get some assistance from the Blue Angel. And then, as I just said, now she's even helped me create a program for animals who are losing their senses. And she's very, very easy for people to access. They can actually, even if they're not familiar with her yet, just call her name and ask for her support in whatever's going on. And then if they want to connect with her, and we will do that, then I can give them a little intro to connecting with her, and then they can make it their own. But she is here, and always since 2012, whenever I've called on her, I've gotten peace much more quickly and easily. It's helped me help whoever was happening with issues and whatever might be going on. So she's a wonderful adjunct. She's not meant to replace anything that we already do, but
Mhm.
here as a support and guide for us.
Excellent. So, would you like to share a meditative prayer? Just what you think maybe the group most needs, either those watching live or on replay?
Yeah, I'd actually like to do a couple if that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine. Yeah.
I was looking at that, and this first one, I have to put on my cat glasses where I can really see now. But
Sure. No.
this first one is actually for aging pets, but you can, if you don't have an aging one, you can simply set in an intention that it is for your pet in whatever stage of life they're in.
Mhm.
Blue Angel, I ask you now to come and bless my aging pet. My pet has been with me for so very long, serving with a noble heart, loving unabashedly, and fearlessly following me without question. Ever my companion, my stalwart guide in the world, easing my pain and erasing my fears. I can never repay the trust or loyalty that I have been given. I could never earn it, but it means the world to me. I ask that you bestow heaven's highest honor on my beloved pet, and that you send the angels to keep watch over my pet when I am away. Keep my pet's mind clear and able to remember me and our times, and if it becomes foggy, keep them safe from harm. As my pet's body begins to slow down, protect my friend from the elements. Keep them safe and warm, and make sure that their aging bones stay healthy and strong. And if weakness is detected, that care is given to match the need. Keep my friend's heart beating strong for as long as possible, and make their legs strong to run and play or walk leisurely around the block. Help my beloved friend to always know how much this friendship has meant to me and how lost I would be without them. How truly grateful I am for my pets present in my life, and that they have truly been a blessing to me, more than I have known at times, but know now. I ask you, Divine Lady, to please, when it is time for my beloved companion to leave this earth, let me know so that I can be there to do what I can to ease their journey and say goodbye. And I ask you to have the angels surround my friend and lift them up to heaven to make sure that they are happy, healed, and ready for their wings, and that they send a little sign back to show that they are okay. Thank you, Blessed Lady. And you can kind of see how it goes into depth. Now, and there are some, you know, not quite that long, and there are others longer, depending on the situation. One is, I thought, because so often we have to have issues with going to the vet. So we have one for going to the vet.
Mhm.
Dear lady, please wrap this fur baby's heart in peace and in safety as they get ready to travel to the veterinary appointment and all future appointments. Help the family be able to convey to the pet the importance of being checked out if there is sickness, of being able to go and be helped and healed whenever it is necessary to go to the veterinarian. Please help this fur baby to be willing to feel safe and comfortable, and to allow all fears, confusions, questions, and concerns about the visit to be allayed. Help the veterinarian and the vet techs to have gentle, understanding hands and compassionate hearts, and make the fur baby feel safe and trusting. Help the family to understand any potential fears or concerns their pet has about going somewhere strange and having strange things done to their bodies. Help the fur baby to be able to relax in the environment and to know that this is for their highest good. Help the family to put the safety and welfare of their pet above all else when getting ready to go to the vet and on the trip over. Have the fur baby rest within the loving trust of their family. Once they return home, please help everything go back to normal and let there be no lingering traces, confusions, fears, or frustrations from the visit or the trip. Help the fur baby fall back into their own home routine and feel safe, comfortable, and loved always. Thank you, dear lady. So that would be another one. I have
Yeah.
one on
Let me just ask
communication.
if people want to comment too, to go ahead and type in the chat. If you can add one, one more or
Sure.
so. And then, but
Yeah.
go ahead and if you're seeing it on Facebook, type into the chat. I'll look at your comments. If you're live right now with us on Zoom, you're actually on the Zoom call itself, just type in the chat. And yeah, go ahead, Tricia.
This is on communication, and I think this is something that everybody, no matter where they are in their relationship with their pet, it would be good for them to just have taken in. Dear lady, help all members of this family, two-legged and four, to understand and recognize the necessity for good communication processes. Help them to know that good communication will resolve misunderstandings and errors in judgment. Help all members of this family to open their hearts and their minds to this. Teach them and show them that they are now ready for and know the power of the divine. Where miscommunication may occur, let it be acknowledged and resolved quickly, swiftly, and without malice or hostility. Help bring the disjointed parties together in peace and harmony, and help them to learn that they are all connected. Let the communication to be clear, connected with a willingness to speak truly from one heart. May the heart and mind to work together in conjunction with each other and always be clear and loving. When engaging in all forms of communication, allow each one to communicate within themselves as well, knowing and understanding that what they say creates their world. Let beauty and peace bridge any gaps they see, sense, or feel within themselves and each other. Help them always to keep a divine mission in the forefront. Thank you, dear lady.
Thank you, Tricia, for those beautiful, she said, meditative prayers of things you can do to support your animals with the Blue Angel in these different situations, appointment with the vet. First one was transition. What was, and yeah. So again, going to look at the chat of those that are on Zoom. And
Okay.
Kelly says, this is so beautiful, Dr. Tricia, especially the meditative prayers. So she says, thank you.
Thank you.
And let me check Facebook. Again, if I'm going to open up in a minute, we're going to open up for questions. Would that work for you, Dr. Tricia, to take
Sure,
questions from the
absolutely.
audience?
Yes.
Let me check. We have any comments about the prayers? Yeah, Cindy Aldridge from Missouri says that is just beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. Sue Devio Patti says, thank you for this prayer as I needed that for my rescue cat Phoebe, who is in kidney failure. She's going to the vet Saturday. That's
Okay.
interesting. That's the issue. I was working with another client. That was actually the issue that the vet, not me, diagnosed was kidney failure.
Wow.
So what immediately comes to mind, kidneys, they say sometimes anger, resentment, again, maybe it's, who knows, picking up from collective consciousness, things going on in the household. That client I was working, had a lot of anger in their own life. So
And we so
Um,
often don't even recognize that, because
yeah,
we're just used to dealing with stuff.
yeah. All right. So I'm going to take some, if you'd like, if you're live on the Zoom call right now, would like to ask a question, uh, go ahead and I think you can raise your hand. I'm still getting, let's see. Yeah, so I think y'all have the raise your hand. If anyone, Astrid, Holly, or Kelly would like to ask a question directly of Tricia. Or if you don't have an ability to raise your hand, just unmute
Raise your
yourself. Yeah,
voice.
or
Just do
well, they're not on videos. I can't see the hand. I
Oh,
think
I
there's
got you. Okay.
I think there's a raise your hand function, but if not, just unmute yourself. Okay. All right. Let me again check in the chat, see if there's any written comments on Facebook. Okay. Uh, Carla said, Carla uh, Dubé from Boston says, thank you so much. I love the sound of the words. Yeah, Blue Lady, Blue Angel gave me chills.
Oh, thank you. Something I want to share with your audience too, Mark, is that the Blue Angel is going to be made available in multiple ways. There'll be not only the book, but then what we've been in the process of doing is actually recording via Zoom the meditative prayers so that they'll be available as a collection, but then also separately, that they can be purchased separately if you're just going through like one issue, and you can either have the video or just audios as well. So it'll be available in multiple formats.
That's great. And so this is something people are, on the go, can download MP3s to their phone or tablet or whatever
Right.
device they have. So like you said, as we all know, sometimes these situations emerge unexpectedly, and it's a great level of support to have, at the
Yeah,
on hand at the tip of your fingertips, right?
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, Kim, actually, you've answered. Kim Williams Newman wrote in, say she was a little bit late joining, but where can we get a copy of the beautiful prayers? So,
What I can do is I can, if they will email us, then
mhm.
I will send them a copy of the 3 prayers that I've written or that
Okay,
I've shared already, because
yeah,
those will be in the book, but I'll be happy to share that. And I also do personalized prayers as well for individual situations that people can contact me on. So I'll tell everybody how to get in touch with us, and we'll make those available.
yeah. Okay, so Kim, yeah. So reach
Thank
out.
you
You
for
can reach
that.
out to me or Dr. Tricia will be putting our contact information in the chat. And she's graciously agreed to share those 3 prayers that she yeah, read and spoke and today. Okay. All right, so we have a question from Sue Daviopati that says, any healing I could do for my wild fox with mange? I'm unable to continue to treat as many animals have been attracted to its food, and that's how I give meds. Okay, let me read that one more time. Any healing that I could do for my wild fox with mange, I'm unable to continue to treat as many other animals. Oh, treat, I guess, the fox, as many other animals have been attracted to the fox's food, and that's how I give meds to the fox.
Yes, and I'm so glad you asked that, because several things. First of all, just as you were saying that, Mark, I was actually creating healing for
Mhm.
the fox, and that healing will just work as the fox requires it, unless or until he no longer does, or she. Secondly, and this is for everyone, whether you're a part of my tribe or not, and would love to have you, if you haven't experienced us, to please do. But years and years ago, I was given the channel of creating what I call the healing circle. And it's 24 hours a day. It's open like a diner. And all you have to do is anything personal or with your pet or your wild animals that you work with, toss it up into the healing circle. And then the healing energy, again, just like mine, will run until either the situation is completed or until you ask that it stop. And then you can do it as many times as required, but you only, with each animal, have to do it one time. And then it will just go on and on and on. And then there's also a manifesting circle as well. So if you want to manifest something for you or for your pets, again, you set your intention, your desire, and you put it up into the manifesting circle, and that will go on and on and on. And that not only has my energy in it, but all of the Raphael, the Blue Angel, St. Francis, all of the major healers have created energy into those circles. So everybody is welcome to use those.
Great. So yeah, Sue, so that's one way you can support the healing of your wild fox friend. That you
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. All right, we have a question from Kelly. So I'm gonna unmute her. Let's see. And if
I did it myself.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I was
Hi, Mark.
the button. That's fine. No worries.
Hi, Mark. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Tricia.
Hey, I love that picture. That's gorgeous.
I wanted to just ask a little bit about the prayers and the fact that you touched on the healing circle as well. Because sometimes we might get those prayers in our hands and we forget where we place them, and we need them at a certain point in time. Does it make sense to read through the prayers when we get them? And then if something would occur in the future, to be able to just call on those prayers and set the intention that that's coming into play instead of having to actually read it again. So, read it when you get it and then be able to call upon it at any time. For example, if you are passing a wild animal in nature and you see that it's injured and of course you can't really interact with it, that type of a thing. Just curious what your thoughts are there.
That's actually a great question. I've never been asked that, but yes, okay, because yes, absolutely, you can read them and kind of take them in and have and imbue yourself with them. And then depending on where you are spiritually, okay, because some of us are at all different phases along our timelines. So for some people, it might be more difficult to think about them later and then just call them in, and they would feel more comfortable going and finding it and reading it aloud or reading it quietly. They can also, you can also hold them to your heart and have them sink in that way. And also the very, very simplest thing that one can do is whatever, like you just said, if you're passing and you see something happen with a wild animal or an animal that may be hurt alongside the road, then you just ask the Blue Angel to go to that animal and minister to them. You can make it that simple, but also because of the language in the different prayers, then some families may feel that desire for comfort and more understanding from themselves. And like anything, the more you read something, the more the more you take it in and the deeper the levels go. So you can really use these prayers on any level that you are most comfortable with. And if you want to set that intention of being able to pull one out whenever and just have it in your consciousness whenever it's necessary, it can be done just like that. And if you want to try that as an experiment, y'all feel free to do that. But if you don't feel something happen, don't get upset about it, or don't think, well, I did it wrong, because there's no way that you can be wrong ever when you work with the Blue Angel. Just know that if you try a certain way and you don't feel the peace or the calmness, that you're not just quite in sync with that level yet. And so try another one. Maybe after everything comes out, maybe listen to the recording or something like that. But just know that you can always call on her no matter what in the blink of an eye. So that was a very profound question, Kelly. Thank you for that.
Well, and I love the answer. And I guess one of the reasons I was asking is sometimes I get emotionally triggered by the situation. So I love that the words have a vibration and that there's the meaning behind it and everything. So the way it's laid out is very comprehensive in that regard. But that's where I was thinking, well, if I can't find the prayers, or, I would want to be able to call upon that. So I appreciate the input on that, Dr. Tricia.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Sorry, my cat's knocking over the the video, so I got to readjust it there.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kelly, for that question. Thank you very much. Sue Deviopati, the woman you helped with the wild fox, she also says she wished she knew, this process when she was helping a hurt geese. Or hurt geese, I guess, obviously more than one. So, yeah.
Well, and Sue, look, you know what? As we're ready in consciousness, the information comes to us. So whatever you did before to help your geese was just and appropriate for them and for you in that time. So don't feel that you lost a resource, because you didn't. Okay. And they knew what you were trying to do and loved you for it. So don't ever worry about things like that. Those things do not matter. It's always your intent and your love that count.
Yeah. Great. Let's see. Let me check. Okay. She also said, every year I find them. I guess she always finds hurt geese. So
okay.
I don't know where she is in the. I know she's here somewhere in the U.S. I'm trying to remember, or maybe Canada, but in North America at least. I think I'm right on that. But yeah.
And you can also, y'all, and Sue, you may want to try this. You can create a prayer for the geese with the Blue Angel. You can create your own. You don't have to stick to mine, or once you find one of mine, you can also adapt it and make it sound more like you if it doesn't sound quite like you are. So just feel free to call on her when they come this year and just have at it.
All right. Let's see. Tricia, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Sometimes I'm toggling between screens. All right. Let me know if any more questions, again, from those either here on the Zoom call live or seeing this through Facebook. Please go ahead and speak up. Great opportunity to ask your questions about the Blue Angel or something about your pet too that's going on, right?
Absolutely, sure.
Great opportunity. So I encourage everyone to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly says, thank you to both Dr. Tricia and Mark for all your contributions with the animals.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a real delight to work with the animals and people, but especially the animals. They're very,
Absolutely.
very, very sweet. So, all right. All right. So, as we said at the beginning of the show, in 2021, you'll be releasing the book, and like
Mhm.
the accompanying, MP3 format, somewhere you can buy a la carte, some you buy the whole set, I imagine, different options for people to choose what they'd like to do. Are there any other aspects of the book that you'd like to share with the audience today?
Well, I think that one of the most powerful parts of the book, and it was the final part, it was kind of pushed into me with spirit, was in creating an entire section with multiple prayers on transition. And they range from like the aging pet, to accidental and unexpected loss, to when a mother may lose kittens, to this amazing, amazing prayer of grief, which just is so profound in healing. It's long, but it covers so much of what we go through, and all of us will have to be facing that in one way or another. So to me, that is the newest, but one of the most profound parts of the book. And then again, just the varied scope, whether it's talking about blending new tribe members, or if you have a lost pet, or if you're trying to rehome a pet, how to set that in motion for everybody's highest good. The layers and degrees that we've touched on, I think, will just cover so much for people. And then the fact that you don't have to at all stop here. You can create your own version. And that's what's really powerful, because you may be having, like I was just having a few minutes ago, the tiffs going on. Well, while I was settling them down, in my mind, though, I was already calling on the Blue Angel to help come and create some peace. And it can be that quick, in the blink of an eye. And again, depending on where you are in your consciousness, some people love, and I do. I have a candle going right now, and I did incense to set the atmosphere for us all beforehand. Some people love and really value rituals, and so they may want to create a process for when they just share the prayers with their animals. Some may be that they want to read it, and they're good. And others, it may be that they can just, because of the healing work they've done or where they're at, they can simply think something and it's processed in a nanosecond. So there's so many ways to do this, and it all just depends on where you are and what feels good and right to you, and you can use it in those ways and call upon her.
Yeah. Well, great.
24 hours a day.
Exactly.
Multiple times if you have to.
Exactly. Yeah, that's great that, because sometimes these situations arise at 4 a.m, 2 a.m, and she's there. She's on call with, like, I assume, like all angels, they'll come if you ask for their assistance. They won't intervene unless you ask them.
Exactly. And that's such a good reminder, Mark. No angel, but especially the Blue Angel, is not going to intervene or act as an intercessor in any way without being asked, because that's just how it was set up. We have to recognize that we require support, assistance, help, guidance, whatever, and we have to get out of ourselves and be willing to ask for it. And again, as many times a day as is necessary. And the thing about it is, we may judge that and go, oh no, I should have been able to handle this. But the angels are saying, oh, thank you, because we wanted to be a part. We want to help you. So don't wait till the last second and you have no other resources. Do it in every moment that is necessary, and think of them as your companions and guides. And that's how we make it all work with them.
Yeah. I mean, that's, that for me, I was just reflecting the other day of kind of like, I lived and worked abroad in Taiwan for 2 years. And I think one of my biggest life lessons was being able and willing to ask for help. I didn't speak Mandarin Chinese at the time, still don't. And I needed a lot of help with a lot of things. One of my close Taiwanese friends that helped me a lot, one of many, at one point said, I'm tired of babysitting you. I said, hey, it wasn't that bad. But I did need a lot of help sometimes very everyday things like ordering more water for my apartment. It was all in Mandarin. And so, and I've learned that because we'll all come in points in life where we all want to be as independent as possible and do as much as we can. And there are times that we need help, and to be comfortable asking for it. And it's not a sign of weakness that, it's actually a sign of strength to acknowledge, yeah, I really need some help now.
Well, and like you said, even in being independent, that doesn't mean not asking or not being willing to ask. It simply means we recognize that there is this amazing divine support available for even hanging a picture straight, for getting to an appointment on time in heavy traffic. So there are no little requests for the angels. They all are important, and otherwise they're just standing around wishing they could help us, but their wings are clipped until we ask for it. So that's so important to remind ourselves. It's not a lack or a diminishment of us. It's literally a sign of spiritual growth and being willing to ask for that help.
Yeah. Well, as we get ready to wrap up the show, do you have any other final comments, thoughts you'd like to leave the viewers with today?
Yes, the big thing that, and I had made a note about this because I did not want to forget it. The most important, there are two really important thoughts I want to leave with everybody. The first most important is when our animals get sick, even, or when they start having issues with each other. We don't want to label it or get caught up living the diagnosis, because as humans, that's what we tend to do. Oh no, they've got kidney disease. Oh my God. And then we're of no help to the animals, even though we're trying, because we're living in that fear and worry. All right. So if you receive some kind of diagnosis, or if you see them acting out, then don't go, oh, bad kitty. Go, oh my goodness, what's going on? Let me help you. And when you get any kind of diagnosis of anything, no matter if it's separation anxiety, hold it out here in your awareness and just say to yourself, this is what they said, all right? But you don't let it come into where you are, because otherwise you're going to lose all perspective. And then the second thing is, it's so important to learn to go deeper with your pet. And you don't have to be an animal communicator to go to the deeper levels, but you do have to learn how to do it, because even those of us on the spiritual plane still often only go onto certain surface levels and layers, and don't always recognize the depth that we can go to. And the depth is precipitated by the love that we have for them. If we can stay in love, in the energy of being love with them, then whatever is going on, we will be able to address, because we're doing it from love for them, and we're in the state of being love, so that anything that's going to happen is going to be for the highest good, and we'll recognize it, not run from it. So that is really, I would say, the most important thing, is to learn and be willing to go deeper. And if you don't know how, be glad to help you. But that's what's important, is the love and the depth of connection.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. Many people that contact me want to deepen their connection with their pet, because they're very special to them. For many, they're everything, to use that expression. So yeah, well, thank you very much, Dr. Tricia, and please share with the audience what's the best way to reach out to you, about your work, your offerings, your website, social media. What's the best way to reach out?
And what I would like to do is offer everybody a copy of a talk I gave, which is, I think, so important. It's called Difficult Conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you will write my administrative assistant, Mary Hickish, and it's MSH Paws, PAWS, MSH Paws at iCloud.net. .com. I'm sorry, .com. I always say .net. Then you can request the Difficult Conversations, and also the copy of the prayers that I did today. If you want to learn to go deeper, she can connect me with you. And then I would love to invite everybody also to it was Unipause. It's now been renamed the Epiphany series. And we meet on Tuesdays from 12 to 2 Central and have guests on every week. Next week will be Lori Spagna. So if you'd like to access that, it's a Zoom call. Again, just email Mary and we can get you on that call and have you become a part of the series and enjoy it. But thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it, Mark. It's always wonderful to go in deep with you like this.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure. And let's see, there was one more comment in the chat I just wanted to share. Holly Ashenfelter shared, Felter, very interested in creating a prayer with the Blue Angel. Sounds wonderful. So,
great.
Yeah.
And then if people want personal prayers from me, then they can connect with Mary, and then I can create personal ones for them, or we can do a session and show you how to do it yourself.
Great.
So.
Again, we'll put in the show notes the contact information if you'd like to reach out to Dr. Tricia through Mary Hickish to receive the 3 meditative prayers that she shared today, as well as access to the Epiphany series, right? You said every Tuesday?
Yes, and we'll put my cell phone in there too, Mark, for you.
Okay, whatever you'd like to share of how to reach out to you. Again, thank you, Dr. Tricia, for being my guest today on the People and Pets Show. And Astrid from the Netherlands says, thank you, Dr. Tricia and Mark. Let's see. I would love to get the difficult conversations and the Blue Angel prayers. So yeah, so again, just reach out. We'll put the contact information on the replay and you'll receive those. Again, so thank you so much for everyone being with us today. Again, if you're seeing this live on Facebook, make sure you love, like, share it out, please. If you're seeing on replay on the YouTube channel for the People and Pet Show, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Typically, we go live. It's usually every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Lately, I've been doing some experimenting with the time to see if one day is better for others or not. So, but traditionally, we've been going live at Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central, and each week we'll bring you a leading edge guest in the holistic space, either for people, animals, or places. And if I can be of service, please reach out to me. You can find more information, book a private session at my website at peopleandpetsenergetics.com. And also check out my new package I just released called the Daily Energetic Hygiene Package, so that your energy field remains clear, clean, and sovereign. So again, thank you, Dr. Tricia. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll be in touch real soon. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.